Greetings, my peeps, and welcome to the All Things Basketball Podcast with your boy GD. In this episode, we will recap all the Christmas Day games. There were 5 games on the schedule, so we will talk about each and every one and the different ramifications and so forth. So just sit back, relax, and enjoy the show. Okay, guys, so we're going to talk about the Christmas Day games. There were 5 games that were played, and we'll talk about each one of them. So let's get into it, guys. Christmas Day, so that's now one of the crown days in the NBA calendar. So all the games on prime time. You got it on ABC and ESPN, so it's like a joint simulcast. So you're able to see every single game, it seems, here. So alright, so let's get into it, shall we? Let's talk about the first game at noon. The Knicks hosting the Philadelphia 76ers, and in a game that was pretty close until about the fourth quarter, and then the doors sort of blew off, so to speak. So, and the Sixers get the win over the Knicks, 119 to 112. So, and in that game, Joel Embiid has a very good game, 35 points for him. Then you had James Harden in that game, 29 points for him as well. Well, for him, that is, along with 5 assists. No, not 5 assists. 5 3-pointers in that game. I'm sorry. 5 3-pointers in the game. And also, he has 13 assists, 4 rebounds, 4 steals for the Sixers. So, and then for the Knicks, Julius Randle leads the way with 35 points, 8 rebounds, 4 assists, and 2 steals. Jalen Brunson has a nice game there, 23 points, 11 assists for him. And then you have R.J. Barrett. Not such a great game, 17 points. He does it on 6 of 21 shooting. Not good. But he does have 10 rebounds and 4 assists in that game. And pretty much the bench there late, thanks to Gorgas Niang, he has a solid game off the bench for them, for the Sixers. And in terms of the Knicks bench, not too much outside of Quickly's 11 points. So this was a game that was, pretty much neck and neck, but the fourth quarter Knicks couldn't get it done in that regard. So they get the loss at home in that game. So tough one for the home team, the Knicks. So, alright, so we'll move on to the second game. The second game is Dallas hosting the Los Angeles Lakers. And then remember, at halftime, in this game, they were able to unveil the Dirk Nowitzki statue that's in front of their arena there. So, but this is a game where it was kind of close at the half. In fact, Dallas was down 54 to 43 at the half. But they then explode for 51 points in the third quarter as Dallas overtakes the Lakers 124 to 115 in that one. So, Luka Doncic, Lakers couldn't do much with him. 32 points for him. along with 9 assists, so 9 rebounds as well. So it's a game where he flirts with that triple-double. And he also has 2 steals, by the way, in the game. So Luka Doncic continuing to play above his skis and then some there. Christian Wood with I would say his best game as a Dallas Maverick. 30 points, 8 rebounds, 7 assists, 4 steals, and 2 blocks. So Christian Wood, this is the Christian Wood they traded for. This is a guy who I think with his presence inside can make the difference for this Dallas Maverick club. But they got to get some help, man. They got to get some help from others. And they happen to do that this day with Tim Hardaway Jr. dropping 26 points. Of those 26 points, 6 were 3-pointers. And he had 6 rebounds as well. So I tell you what, guys, if Dallas gets any semblance of scoring outside of Luka and Christian Wood, man, they're going to be a problem. So those guys getting it done for that team. And a pretty solid game for Reggie Bullock. Reggie Bullock is a guy who they desperately need. They need his defense. They need his timely shooting as well. They need the guy. So Spencer Dinwiddie didn't have that great a game in this one. He did have 8 assists for them, so that helps. But Dallas, for them to, to at least match what they did last year, how deep a run they had for that squad last year. So can they duplicate that? Sure they can. I think they can do it. But again, help is needed on all fronts. And then for the Lakers in the loss, LeBron James, 38 points, 6 rebounds, 5 assists in that game. So LeBron doing it all upon his own once again. Looking much like the early Cavalier days when he first entered the league. Did get contributions from the bench. Russell Westbrook, who has he's gone above and beyond to accept this bench role. 17 points, 5 rebounds, 4 assists for him. And Austin Reeves actually now coming from the bench. 16 points for him in this one for the Lakers. But again, they're missing the big cog in their wheel, Anthony Davis. They need him in order to at least show some semblance of a team that could possibly knock on the door of the playoffs. So until then, they will struggle until he arrives back on the court. So that's your second game. The third game, Boston Celtics hosting the Milwaukee Bucks. And another game that was close at the half, with the Celtics leading by 1 in the half, but eventually exploding in the second half, thus putting the game out of reach for Milwaukee. And again, I've been citing Milwaukee. There's something missing there. I can't put my finger on it. One could point to Chris Middleton's health not being 100%, but they did start out the gate pretty hot without him. So getting them back healthy is key for them, I think. Definitely key. But it seems something else is missing. I don't know what it is. But in any event, let's talk about Boston. Jason Tatum, 41 points for him as he continues his MVP-like season. 41 points, 7 rebounds, 5 assists, 3 steals. And then Jaylen Brown supporting him as always, 29 points, 5 rebounds, and 4 assists for him, for those Boston Celtics there. So, of course, getting the contribution from the big two. and then getting timely hooping from others such as Horace, Al Horford, guys like Derek White, getting some production from them. Marcus Smart playing from his point guard position, getting 8 assists. Getting bench help from the likes of Grant Williams helps as well. And of course, the big key for Boston, having a healthy Robert Williams III in tow. He played in this game, 14 minutes for him. And they're slowly integrating him back into the fold. So I say probably once you get out of the All-Star break, I think you're going to see his minutes bump up, if provided there's no further aggravation of injuries for Williams. So when that happens, I mean, they're already playing great now. That's only going to help this team. And Joe Mazzulla, let's talk about him and the work he's done with this team. He's kept this team humming. I know people say, oh, he's just running Udoka's system. M.A. Udoka, who, of course, is suspended for the year. But still, it's something about consistency, having a voice there that has been there, who knows, who pretty much knows what he's doing. And it sounds like Mazzulla does. Certainly seems that way. So Boston continuing to hum along regardless. So, with that said, Boston gets the win here. The fourth game on the schedule, Golden State Warriors, who come into this game limping a bit after going east and getting shellacked by the likes of the Nets, the Knicks, and so forth. They host the Memphis Grizzlies in what I thought would be a tough game. At the half, Golden State was ahead 59-54, and then they controlled things the second half as well, getting the win 123-109. So let's talk about the game itself. Jordan Poole, who's pretty much the man when it comes to Seth Curry being out. They need somebody to step up, step in. Jordan Poole has done that. 32 points for him. Then you have Klay Thompson, who, if you get a 85% to 90% Klay Thompson, that definitely gives you a puncher's chance. So 24 points for him, 9 rebounds, 4 assists. And then Draymond doing Draymond Green things, 3 points for him, but 13 rebounds, 13 assists, and 2 blocks. This is the Draymond you want. A guy who's engaged, who's active. A guy like this who will help that team at least tread water until Steph Curry gets back. So they get the win here in the loss for the Grizzlies. I'm sure this is a loss that won't go down well. Ja Morant led the way with 36 points, 8 assists, 7 rebounds. A bit of a quiet game for Jarrett Jackson Jr. I thought he would explode in a game of this type. Just 11 points with just 2 rebounds. And not such a great game for your combination of Dillon Brooks and Desmond Bane. Well, remember, this is Desmond Bane's second game back, so those two combined for 6 for 25 from the field. That's unacceptable for 22 points combined. That's not going to get it done, guys, that's for sure. As well as 1 for 13 from 3, so yeah, that's not going to help you win many games. So I were Memphis and Taylor Jenkins, I would just file this one away and chalk it up to just, bad games for those guys and just move forward. So Golden State gets the win here against the Memphis Grizzlies. And then the final game was the close game. Denver hosting the Phoenix Suns and winning in overtime, 128-125. So in this game, still Devin Booker is sidelined. The groin injury that has hampered him as of late. So he's in fact he re-aggravates it in this game. So only playing 4 minutes in this one. So that groin injury, that's definitely going to be a thing of concern for them going forward. So we'll see what happens in terms of for the Phoenix Suns, who they're starting to come down to earth a bit. So whereas Denver, they're starting to arise. Let's talk about Denver. Nikolai Jokic, 41 points for him, 15 rebounds, 15 assists. So he, he's the MVP. He's an MVP for a reason, guys. So this type of output doesn't surprise me in the least. So getting it done for the Nuggets. Aaron Gordon, I've been singing his praises for a minute. 28 points for him, 13 rebounds. And then you have a Jamal Murray who's rounding himself back into shape. 26 points, 5 rebounds, 5 assists, 2 steals. And now you got Michael Porter Jr. who's coming back from his injury. So it'll take some time. He's got to get his legs back under him. So, but he's a guy who he's a 20-point plus scorer in this league when healthy. So, will this hurt Aaron Gordon maybe in the interim? It's possible. It's very possible. Kentavious Caldwell-Pope, he has been I tell you what, that's a trade that at least I spoke about, but not many people are paying attention to. I think it's one of those trades that on the low really helps Denver. I think I mentioned it when I talked about this trade. KCP, he spreads the floor. He allows guys to, see more better looks because of his outside, him being an outside threat. So, yeah, I think he's been a solid addition. Of course, you got the likes of a Bones Highland. I would like to see more out of their bench. Bruce Brown he's been very good for them as well. So, definitely would like to see more from this bench, but Denver is going to be a problem going the rest of the way, that's for sure. Then again, Phoenix, I said, is coming down to earth. Landry Shamet, from the bench, he scores 31 points with 7 threes in this game, along with 6 assists. So he fills in the time that's opened up with the Devin Booker injury. DeAndre Ayton, 22 points, 16 rebounds, 2 blocks, 2 steals. And then you got CP3, 17 points, 16 assists, 4 rebounds, 2 steals for him. So you got CP3 who's playing a bit better than he did prior to his injury that kept him out a while. So, but Phoenix is going to have to figure some things out. I know there's still the DeAndre Ayton situation that still looms over their heads. I think it's possible. I think Monty Williams is he's probably up to here with Ayton at this point. He's trying to motivate him and so forth. And, he has his good days. He has his okay days. But I think if at all possible, if he were to bring in a center that could, I'm not saying he has to be a 20-point scorer, 10 rebound guy, but a guy who could really impose his will on the interior. Imagine what they could do with a guy like a Rudy Gobert playing in the middle for that team. So somebody like that with a presence inside. I don't think they sit on their hands come the trade deadline. I think if at all possible, they're looking to make a move. I still say possibly keep your eye on a San Antonio situation where Ayton could move to a situation like that. You bring back the center over there along with some other pieces to fortify your bench. I don't think it's out the realm of possibility, guys. So I just say that's a situation that bears some watching, especially around the trade deadline. So, all right, guys, I think I'm going to cut it off here. Short one, but it was only the Christmas Day games, 5 games that were played. So, guys, we're about to turn the corner to a new year. So, looking forward to all that brings on the other side. 2023, I expect nothing but exciting, great things happening in the NBA and all around basketball. So, once again, guys, I thank you for listening. I thank you for sticking with this show here, the All Things Basketball Podcast with your boy GD here. So with that said, have a great and safe New Year, guys. Take care, and we'll talk on the other side. All right, take care. So, my peeps, if you like what you're listening to, you can go to my website, www.allthingsbasketballwithgd.com. You can also email me at thatsportsdudegd@gmail.com. To support this podcast, you can go to my PayPal, and that email is thatsportsdudegd@gmail.com. Also on my Anchor page, I have a support button there that you can also use to help the podcast. I'm on all the major platforms like Anchor, Spreaker, Google Podcasts, Amazon, SoundCloud, YouTube, Castbox, Radio Public, Podchaser, just to name a few. And also you can find me on social media, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, Clubhouse, and Fanbase. So, once again, I thank you for listening and supporting this podcast. And take care and be safe.